Hello dear students, let's have our online social studies class. And we completed already the chapters for our first term examination, and we are continuing revision of the chapters. So today we will revise the chapter 13, our environment. So what is environment, you know? The immediate natural surroundings of a person or thing is called as environment. And in our environment there are plants, air, water, landforms, wildlife and so many things. So what are the components of the environment? The environment is a combination of natural and human-made phenomena. And different components of the environment are classified as like that. Firstly, natural environment, next human environment and human-made environment. So, the different components of the environment are broadly classified as natural environment, human environment and human-made environment. The natural environment is made up of both biotic and abiotic conditions existing on the earth. Human environment refers to both humans and human created activities and things like buildings, roads, parks, bridges, etc. In this diagram, you can see here the components of the environment. Natural, human, human-made. Natural components are land, water, air. And human, individual, family, community, religion, education. And human-made, road, building, parks, bridges. So, this is a mind map of the components of the environment. Next is, the natural and human-made environment interacts with each other, and in this way there is a changes in the living conditions of man. And humans also influence the environment in many ways, either directly or indirectly through their activities. And always remember that a proper balance or equilibrium should be maintained between the different components of the environment for the formation of favorable conditions for the existence of man and other living beings on our mother planet Earth. So what is natural environment then? Our natural environment comprises of land, water, air, plants and animals. And they include both biotic and abiotic resources. Biotic factors means all the living things in an ecosystem, such as plants and animals. These living things interact with one another in many ways. Biotic factors and their interactions are broken into three factors: producers, consumers and decomposers. And abiotic factors are the non-living parts of the environment that have a major influence on living organisms. Abiotic factors include water, sunlight, oxygen, soil and temperature. Moreover, the natural environment is made up of different domains like the lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere, about which we already know. Now, human environment and human-made environment. You know, human beings interact and influence the environment in which they live. Their social, religious, economic and cultural activities form a part of the human environment. With the changing times, humans have adapted themselves to the natural surroundings. Early humans led a simple life and fulfilled their requirements from nature. Gradually, they explored the environment around them and invented other tools and discovered new ways of living, like growing crops, domesticating animals, invention of the wheel, development of transportation, trade, etc. In this way, humans learned to use their environment in a harmonious way. And now today, we human beings have made an environment for ourselves besides the existing environment. This includes the construction of buildings, bridges, parks, roads, etc. Now, what is ecosystem? Individual plants and animals cannot exist by themselves on planet Earth. All living organisms need millions of other living organisms to survive. How these organisms interact with the sun, soil, water, air and each other in a specific area is called an ecosystem. And each ecosystem is different and each has established a balance over time that is important to every form of life within the ecosystem. And now, what is the importance of natural environment? As you know that our natural environment is really unique because it supports life and growth. Our mother planet Earth is the only planet which supports life. On other planets, there is no environment and therefore there is no life. Life on Earth exists because of a certain balance between various elements of the environment. And without this balance, our planet would have been a lifeless planet. Our life depends upon healthy and balanced environmental conditions. The climate is an integral part of the environment. There is a direct relation between environmental conditions and living organisms. For example, extreme climates and sudden changes of environment have a direct influence in our lifestyle and work culture. There are some effects of human activities on the environment. What are these? Actually, the rapid growth in human activities for the development has adversely affected our land, forest, water, atmosphere and overall the environment. Our exploitation of the gifts of nature has created a chaos in the environment. Our rivers are either dead or all dried up. The level of groundwater is also going down because of too much pumping of water. It is important to strike a balance between our environment and industrial development. Otherwise, we may face serious environmental hazards like ozone layer depletion, global warming and climate changes. So, what is ozone depletion? You know that our mother planet Earth is wrapped in a blanket of air that is called as atmosphere. And it is made up of several layers. Above 19 to 30 kilometers above the Earth is a layer of gas called ozone. This is a very important part of atmosphere. The ozone layer is very important because it prevents actually too many of the sun's ultraviolet rays, that is called as UV rays, from getting through to the earth. Too much UV rays can cause skin cancer and also harmful for plants and animals. Recently, all around the world, there has been a widespread use of chlorofluorocarbons, that is popularly called as CFCs. CFCs are used to keep things cold and in making foams and soaps. strong winds carry CFCs up into the stratosphere, where UV radiation breaks them apart, releasing chlorine atoms. The chlorine from CFCs reduce the amount of ozone in the stratosphere. Other ozone-eating chemicals are pesticides like methyl bromide, halogens used in fire extinguisher, etc. Now, ozone hole, it is also a very serious problem. Every spring, a hole as big as the USA develops in the ozone layer over Antarctica in the South Pole. A smaller hole develops each year over the Arctic at the North Pole. And there are signs that the ozone layer is getting thinner all over the planet. The ozone layer is like a sunscreen, and a thinning of it would mean that more ultraviolet rays would be reaching us. And you know that ultraviolet rays are very harmful for us. Too much exposure to UV rays is dangerous to our eyes and skin. And global warming. In this way, global warming takes place, and it relates to the rising of the average temperature of the earth. It affects the overall climate of the earth rather than the weather on any particular day. The earth is generally warm because of greenhouse gases. So, what is greenhouse gases? Greenhouse gases include gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor. As more and more greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, gets into the atmosphere, the earth starts to grow warmer. Every time we drive our cars or use electricity, more carbon dioxide is released into the air. The earth has actually warmed by about 1 degree Fahrenheit over the past 100 years. Scientists believe that it is mainly human activity that is causing global warming. As our planet becomes overpopulated, and all these hazards takes place. And what is the greenhouse effect? The sun is much hotter than the earth, and it gives off rays of heat that is called as radiation that travel through the atmosphere and reach to the earth's crust. The rays of the sun warm the earth, and heat from the earth then travels back into the atmosphere. The gases in the atmosphere stop some of the heat from escaping into space. These gases are called as greenhouse gases, as they trap the heat into the atmosphere. And the greenhouse effect works in the same way as an artificial greenhouse. Now, what are the consequences of global warming? There are few things that scientists think may happen as the temperature rises. Some of the consequences of global warming are, first of all, glaciers melting. All over the world, glaciers are melting and shrinking. With the rise in temperature, they will continue to melt. Then, rising ocean levels. As the glaciers melt, the ocean level will rise. This could result in flooding in cities located near the coast. And migration of animals. As the temperature rises, the animals will migrate to cooler spots or cooler spaces, as their old habitat gets too warm. This could upset the food chain and put some species in danger or extinction. That means some species are abolished or going to be abolished. Next is extreme weather. It is also a very bad effect of global warming. Rising temperatures can lead to extreme weather and natural disasters like hurricanes and floods. And change in ecosystems. Rising temperatures are likely to bring about a change in ecosystems. Cold regions like tundra will shrink while deserts will continue to expand. In this way, global warming harm a lot to our mother planet Earth. So, we all should be aware of that, and we can try our best to prevent all these hazards. Okay. So, this was the chapter. Read the chapter very carefully and line by line, and all the question answers as I gave through the online classes. Okay. That's all for today's class. You all stay safe. Bye till my next class.